Hi, I'm Miss Chris. Today I'm going to show you how to make a retro macrame plant hanger. It is pretty simple. If you've ever made a macrame bracelet or if you watched my macrame tree of life video, you already know all of the steps that you need to make this planter. It's just a matter of measurements and counting. So follow along. The first step is that you're going to measure out 4 pieces of cord that are 4 yards long. You're going to fold them in half to find the middle, and then you're going to set them aside, keeping track of where the middle is. Next, you're going to measure out 4 pieces of cord that are 6 yards long. Cut them, and then you're going to find the middle of each one. Once you've found the center of your 4 long pieces of cord, you're going to join them with your short pieces. And I ran out a little, but they're folded in half, so I'm just going to tie that into a knot so you won't notice this, obviously. I'm just going to take it. Get these to look as even as possible. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you do want to make sure that you catch any short ones that you had to cheat the measurements on. And then just an easy knot. And you're going to pull it tight. And your loop doesn't need to be huge, just big enough to fit the hook since you're going to be hanging them. Next, you're going to divide it into 4s. So you want 2 short pieces and 2 long pieces together. And for right now, I'm just bundling them and tying them into a knot to keep them organized and together. I have a giant piece of book tape. I'm going to take that and I'm just going to tape the knot. If you have duct tape, really anything that's going to be big enough to hold this. Get these 3 out of the way. And then I'm going to take my 2 short ones, have them going down the middle, and then 1 long one on each side of those. And if you've watched the Tree of Life video, it's going to be the same thing if you've ever made a French bracelet. Same thing, we're just going to make square knots. And you can either do a full square knot or a half square knot. I like the way it looks when it's twisted, so we're going to see if I can remember how to do that. Left side, make a little 4. Take our right side, go over the tail of your 4, and then under your 2 middle ones. And then pull it to the top. If I keep doing it that way, it's going to cause it to twist. You can see it's starting to twist. And I like the way it looks when it twists, because I think it looks pretty and fancy. So we're going to keep doing that. So as it's twisting, you have to remember where your front is. And these will kind of be guides. So this has been my left-hand side the whole time, but it's pulled all the way over to the right. So I'm going to switch over to this, and this is my left-hand side now. So it's still going to be making a 4 over and through because it's pulling forward on this side. So like how this pulls to the front, this is now going to be pulling to the front. And you're just going to keep that in mind as you go. And I'm going to have this at least a foot. I'm going to look at it, compare to see how I feel about it. You can go shorter if you have really low ceilings, or you can go longer. But you cut extra cord, but only so much extra. I'm not very tall, so I don't have to worry about bumping my head on any of my hanging plants. Normally my bigger issue is I can't reach them to take them down to wear them, so I'm like, hope you're okay until I decide to get a ladder and get you. And you're going to keep going. And this is another project that is great to be listening to an audiobook for. I just finished Rental Person Who Does Nothing, a memoir by Shoji Morimoto. It's a great book and a super fast read. One of Shoji's bosses told him that he doesn't contribute anything and it wouldn't make a difference if he showed up to work or not. In response to this, Shoji sent out a tweet offering to be a rental person who does nothing, to prove that people have value simply by existing no matter what or how much they're contributing to work or society. That tweet took off immediately, and he started being people's +1 in a variety of disparate situations, such as when they were too anxious to eat alone at a restaurant or needed motivation to do something like clean their apartment, by simply being in the same room while they worked. This book is incredibly introspective about how Shoji enjoys his life, but doesn't feel passionate about anything or want to do much. I'm the polar opposite, and love being always on the go or doing something or learning something new, and really enjoyed hearing about someone who lives such a different lifestyle, and how they're able to have such a wide variety of experiences by doing nothing. Once you hit 12 inches, you're going to put this chunk aside, and then just grab the next one and start from the beginning again, and you're going to be aiming for another 12 inches, so you're just going to tie that knot you've put in, put your short ones in the center, and same thing, just going to make that 4 over the top, over the tail, under the center, and through. Like I said, this is a really great project because you're going to have to repeat this again, and that's not even the full thing. Once your 4 macrame cords are the length that you want them, you're now going to move into the part where you actually make it a hanging net. So these 2 are basically our center. You're going to be working with ones that are next to each other. Coming for the twist, I'm going to take the middle inside of this one. You're going to take a ruler. So what used to be your outside that you were using to tie the knots is now going to be your center. And then you're going to tie about 3 inches down. So the goal is to have all of these even because you're making a net. The basket's going to be hanging in that, or your plant. You don't want them all lopsided. We're going to do 5 of these because that gives you a 180 on the twists. That way it's not going in weird directions. So that brings us down to 4 inches. We've done a full twist, or half a twist. So that these are going off to the sides. We're going to move this out of the way for a second. We're going to do the same thing. These 2 are headed towards each other. Your outside edge is now your center, and we're going to tie another knot. Again, 3 inches down. And the same for these 2. So this one, it looks like it's going to be the wrong one, but it's going to pull across this way and connect back here with this one instead. So even though it feels wrong, it is correct. Right, now we're going to take your last 2. We're going to double check that those are our centers and see how they're twisting towards each other. That's what we wanted to make sure we had going. After you've done that, you're now going to move on to the next part of the basket, and that's going to be the same thing. You're basically going to be headed back to the original spot. You're going to take your outside edges that are towards each other, measure 3 inches down, and repeat. And if you did it correctly, you'll have a diamond. So it goes out, joins with the one next to it, comes back to where it used to be. You're gonna put this to the side. And do the same thing with the next one. You're gonna work your way all the way around. Once you've gone all the way around, you've got your 2 sets of joins, your little diamonds. You're going to finish it by just taking all of them in your hand and tying a big chunky knot. So I've got a couple of shorter ones because I messed up my measurements because I'm working from like leftovers from other projects. It's fine. No one's going to know except for the whole world that watches this YouTube video. Then you're just going to measure 3 inches down because that's what we're using as our magic number. And we're just going to tie, pull it tight. We're going to loosen the knot because I tied it too tight. We're going to take this one that's flopping around, tuck it in there, and then we're going to pull it tight. We're aiming for that 3-inch mark again. We're just going to give little tugs. You now have your chunky knot. We have our little tiny cheater one that if you measured correctly, unlike me, you won't even have because your shortest should be about this long. And we're just going to level off everything. And I wrapped my ends in tape because that's how it's measuring where to cut. So I'm just going to cut just above the tape. Actually, I cut just below the tape and just have to tape it. So that's our shortest one. Other than that one, you can trim it to there. I'm just going to hope that one disappears and blends in. So we're going to trim down here. And then you can leave it as is. I want mine to look fluffier, so I'm going to untwist. Once you've finished your macrame, the next part and final step is to take your 7-inch pot and just drop it into the net. And there you go. You are all set. You're on your own for planting because I keep having them not quite survive.
Support public libraries. Like, share, and subscribe for more great videos.